Hi y'all, welcome to my shop. I know many of you are YouTube creators like me on a budget, so I want to show you a low cost or practically free teleprompter solution that may work for you. My YouTube channel concentrates on wood turning education. I'm passionate about wood turning and enjoy demonstrating and teaching wood turning. Most of the time I'm just talking through what I'm doing. I typically prepare a rough draft to organize the flow and plan a shoot, especially if I have different scenes, typically moving from a lathe to another woodworking machine like the bandsaw or some off-lathe operation. My script also acts as a checklist that I can make notes on when I get ready to edit a video. It's rarely a word-for-word prepared script, but occasionally I have a planned monologue where I'm just talking to my viewers. This is pretty typical of my Moment of Peace video series, where I generally don't do wood turning but respond instead to comments or questions from viewers or provide some wood turning advice or tips. Typically, this generally is scripted more like a prepared talk. Having a word-for-word script does several things. First, it ensures that I include everything I planned. Sometimes I'm quoting someone and I want to get their name right and maybe a comment word-for-word correct. Sometimes I might be covering technical terms or details that I can't really afford to miss anything without losing some meaning. And secondly, using a word-for-word script sometimes reduces the number of retakes when I'm doing a video shoot. I may never get it right the first time, but my chances of success increase on some of those types of videos where I'm providing a lot of detail or a monologue. This is where some type of teleprompter comes in. You've all seen folks on TV or the news using a teleprompter when they just have too much information that it's not practical to memorize it. Professional teleprompters and software can cost hundreds to thousands of dollars and frequently requires the use of a dedicated teleprompter technician. They allow the speaker to look at a teleprompter directly at the camera and read their script. But for me, I want a simple, low-cost approach that would do what I need it to do. Number one, talk from a script without having to memorize it. Maintain eye contact with my viewers instead of reading from a piece of paper and losing my place when I look up at the camera. A script prevents me from accidentally leaving out some key details, and in short, it keeps me from fumbling what I want to say. Now here's what you need to get started with this low-cost solution. First, you need a tripod. Secondly, a laptop or a tablet. Third, a word processing software package. It could be Microsoft Word, could be OpenOffice. A wireless mouse, and a simple mount to hold the laptop and camera on the tripod. I suspect that most of y'all have these first four items. Some of you may need to buy a wireless mouse. Okay, I already had a wireless mouse. I found a drawer I wasn't using, and I had a difficult time setting it up. Turns out it's got a little connect switch here, and then on the dongle that receives the signal that plugs into the USB port, it had a connect switch here, so you had to click on both of them. But it works fine. Most of these wireless mice work from 20-25 feet away, and you can control the scrolling of your screen. Okay, let's get to number 5, and that's making a simple mount to hold your tablet or laptop. First thing you're going to do is get you a piece of plywood that's wide enough to support your laptop. If you got a tablet, you're going to set it up right. You may need to make some slightly different arrangements if it doesn't have a lift-up screen. I got this turned the wrong way. You want to make it just a little bit longer than your laptop in order that you can put a T-nut on the back to support the camera assembly. I also glued a little thin strip of scrap wood I had here on front to kind of make it a little tray. Now, as I said, I marked the center line here. I drill a 5/16 inch hole for this T-nut, just tap it in with a handle. And that winds up supporting a piece of coarse rod I picked up from the hardware store and some 1/4 inch nuts. This is a 1/4 inch by 20, and this thread happens to also be the same thread that we're going to use for your camera settings. It's the same thread on the bottom of your camera. Now on the top of this, you can either mount a little tripod ball and socket. You can get these things off Amazon for less than $5. Or I happen to have an old tripod head, a panning head, which I put on here, so that works for me. You secure it by putting an extra nut so you can tighten up behind it. Now, you're going to put this whole contraption together with all the weight and the camera. Once you've gotten this far where you can mount this piece of rod and the camera and the laptop on here, you've got to find your center of gravity. So let me show you a quick clip on that. This is a somewhat ungainly contraption to mount on top of the tripod to have it balanced. So what I did was I put everything together, and then I put this dowel rod at the bottom, just so, and then I could push this whole contraption backwards and forwards until I could find the center of gravity, and then I just simply put a ruler in there to know how far back to drill that hole. So once you mark the center of gravity on the center, you mark on the center line, you measure back that distance to that dowel, you drill a 5/16 hole, and you use that same size 1/4 by 20 T-nut and tap it in from the bottom. This is a leftover quick release for my tripod. And that's what you're finished with. This is certainly an under-engineered solution, and I know many of y'all will come up with a stronger arrangement back here, and I might too after a little bit of practice. But if you do this approach, put an extra rod here to lock this down. I mean an extra 1/4-inch nut. Put an extra 1/4-inch nut here to help secure the whatever pan head or in this case ball joint you might be using. So once you get it in place, you can just simply lock it down. Use your word processor to develop your script. Use a pleasing font like Arial or Verdana with a size of about 36 or 48. It'll display 3 to 5 words per line and about 4 or 5 lines at one time. You may need to experiment with the best view settings and margins depending on your particular word processor. Here I got my mouse to control it. Do a trial run to get the camera and platforms close enough together to easily read the script, but far enough so that when you look at the screen it appears that you're looking directly at the camera. Make a test video to verify it's appearing the way you want. Do a trial run to get the camera and platform close enough to easily read the script, but far enough so that when you look at the screen it appears that you're looking directly at the camera. Make a test video to verify that it's appearing the way you want. I believe most wireless mice will operate easily at 20 feet from the personal computer laptop, but you should be able to. But you should not have to get that far away. Depending on how far away you'll be from the laptop, you'll need to adjust your font size accordingly. Okay, read your script out loud a couple of times and hold up the script and edit as needed to keep from stumbling over any words, and then do a trial run in front of the camera to practice pacing yourself and getting comfortable scrolling the script with your wireless mouse before you bother taping. Okay, I know this is one-off from any of my typical woodturning tutorial, and as such it may be of little interest to many of you loyal subscribers and viewers that are only interested in woodturning. If so, I apologize, but in order to make the best woodturning videos possible for you, I have to take off my turning smock and spend considerable time on the computer as I stretch into other areas from actual woodturning. Areas like videography, video and sound production and editing, social media, networking, and sharing with other YouTube creators. You regular viewers know how much I love to share, so that's what I'm doing in this video, but covering a topic more suited to my fellow YouTube creators like Mike Walt, Sam Angelo, Steve Ogle, Alan Stratton, Carl Jacobson, Sips Menendez, and others. Some who probably don't even turn wood. But I promise a new wood turning video on Friday, so stay tuned.